Well, it's the holiday season, a time when a lot of people, I don't know, maybe go up to the attic and get some decorations and bring them down. Maybe you find something else in the attic that you weren't expecting. And that's what we are talking about on this episode of Fright Club. We're talking about frightful attics with a special guest. Welcome. There he is.
I'm sorry. Reading.
Love your reading material. Welcome in, Jamie Ray, friend of Fright Club.
That's right.
Hi, guys. So great to see you.
Has this copy
hope you've got a spot of red on you.
Just an argument from a little bit earlier this morning, but we worked it out. It's all good. I always come out worse for the wear. But welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me back. It's always so exciting for you. For me. Because as Hope said when we were before we hit record here, we like it because you pick good topics.
Yeah, you always do. You always come with some great topics, and we get to be on Bay 5 for Fans next, and we're going to do the opposite topic, and so it should be a fun. It should be a fun day. Yeah,
we go up for the decorations. We go downstairs for the wrapping.
That's right.
In between, we find some frights.
That's it. I'm so excited. I had this idea, and you guys, of course, are the only ones I ever think of because, you got me started. It was your show that made me want to do what I want to do now, and it's 6 years in now.
It's amazing.
Nice.
And you do big stuff. I mean, you go to cons. You do like public events. You're big time, Jamie.
Oh, please. Come on. I mean, I don't. You're gonna make me shut. I do. I love going. We have coming in 2006. We have about 7 different cons, and now that we've expanded the show into the whole network of Plastic Microphone Studios, I have 2 other content creators, and they shared with me what we do and what we go. We even started a new show called Sequel House, where we take a movie that didn't have a sequel and we workshop it and then elevator pitch it to each other.
Love it.
So
that's amazing.
Have a lot of fun.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah. See, we want to take your lead. We haven't done any cons, and we should. I don't know where we can find the time, but
that's true.
You should do that.
Yeah. Well, sleep sometimes can be overrated. I'm just,
Not with her.
No, sleeping is my favorite.
Well, this is awesome. Great. So we've got 5, and Jamie has 5.
But yeah,
favorite
we have
attics.
Attics. We have some honorable mentions
Of course
that didn't
we
make
do.
the list. So let's start, Jamie. What are some of yours that didn't quite start your top 5?
Thank you. Well, the reasons mine didn't make the list is because maybe they just weren't the whole focus of the movie.
Right.
So the first one I chose was Paranormal Activity.
Mm-hmm.
And the original one, and I picked the scene in the attic where after she sprays the talcum powder and sees the non-human footprints, she follows it, goes up into the attic, and then the main thing of finding the photo of her and her sister that she thought burned up in the fire. And that leads them to even more discoveries, and as we know what happened, she gets dragged out at the end. So Paranormal Activity 2007, I love the first one.
Yes.
They're so much fun.
That was fun.
The second one would be Burnt Offerings. Now, yes, this one gets some grief from some people. I really enjoyed it because it had kind of a psycho twist ending. So the story goes where they're living in the house with a lady, Miss Arladice, I believe, that lived in the attic. And by the end of the movie, the wife, Marion, has basically taken her place in the attic. And now she's the new, matriarch of the house. Next, of course, you can't talk about a house either in the attic or in the basement if you don't talk about the Amityville house. The attic in this movie was more used as a visualization of the evil of the house. It's got
like
those
the eyes up there.
Yeah, and the long nose. It's so good. It does have the culmination at the end when they're in the attic and the lightning strikes the house. And I don't know if you guys ever noticed, but it knocks out a window, and when you see the outside again, the window's fixed. So it's the house can fix itself.
That's right.
Which is great. It's just all of the ghosts and the flies and everything else that's in the house. And my last one, you cannot talk about addicts without talking about the culminating scene of one of the greatest zombie movies of all time, Return of the Living Dead.
Yeah.
Yes, you only see it for about 2 minutes, but it's just so captivating. So Bert and Spider, they've escaped in a police car. So Ernie and Tina are still in the mortuary, and here comes Freddy, who smells her brain, and they get up into the attic, and they think they're safe. And then at the last moment, Freddy breaks through, and you don't know what happens because that's when the bomb hits. And that little minute and a half in that attic has stuck with me ever since I've seen that movie in the 80s. And I love it. So those are some of my addict honorable mentions.
Yeah, those are good. And actually, Burnt Offerings was probably my number one honorable mention. That's when you talk about addicts, that's probably one of the first ones that I think of. And just the genius casting of putting Karen Black, Oliver Reed, and Betty Davis all in the same movie. I mean, that's batshit crazy right there. And I love it. I love it.
My favorite of my own weird connections. I always think that the limo driver in Burnt Offerings is also the limo driver in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 4. That's just how I like to see things.
Okay.
It could be. I mean, the guy's got to work, right?
That's right.
Yeah. So I'm totally with that.
I neglected to put on our honorable mentions, but it always reminded me of Burnt Offerings is House of the Devil.
Oh yeah.
You know, when she's been hired to babysit, but you don't have to worry about it, and it's in the attic. And
Greta Gerwig.
Yeah, Greta Gerwig, young Greta Gerwig. Yes. So that's a good one. Another one for us is Sinister. A lot of nastiness happens in the attic. Our apologies right now to Jason Townsend, our friend Jason Townsend, who hates that movie. The Grudge has, and the original Ju-on has a great single scene in the attic that is incredibly scary. Krampus has a great, really effective scene in the attic. Krampus from Michael Dougherty from Right Here in Columbus, Ohio. And then Beetlejuice. And we won't even talk about why Beetlejuice is on here because maybe it's going to pop up at another point during our.
You never know.
But
we do crazy things.
That's right. I love this topic because
so much happens up there.
Yeah, because it's this sort of place that's out of the way. It's where you tuck things and you don't pay attention to what's happening up there, and anything could be up there. And there is something just creepy about the attic.
Well, that's a good one.
And so let's dive into what made the proper list. Let's start with your number 5.
Well, you just hit the nail on the head. My number 5 is Beetlejuice from 1988. So in this one, the attic is like the creative stage. It's first set when Adam Maitland uses it for him to recreate the entire town in miniatures. And later on, it's a transport for the two of them to go down to Beetlejuice's world. And then he comes out of that world into the attic and uses it as a doorway to the underworld. Literally draws his own door and goes in. And it's such a good space because, kind of like you're saying, that was his safe space. He was in there. That's his world. Gina Davis would come up and bring you some tea or kiss him or whatever and go out. So that's like his spot. And to have it become this gateway to their horrors was just, terrifying on one stage, hilarious on another.
Yeah.
And I love it. And it's one of those places where the afterlife and our current life just would fold over. And that's why I love Beetlejuice.
And I still think that the effects of the day are still charming.
Yes.
The way they look, even today, I think are still charming and fun.
Yeah.
You're right.
So and I agree with you, Jamie. I think one of the reasons that the attic space in particular works in Beetlejuice is that the space itself means something different to everybody else. And it becomes also Lydia Dietz's safe space, and she sees something picturesque that's just out of reach, that's sort of false, but she wishes weren't false, that's inside this attic. And it's a great just sort of, way station between all of these different worlds. And it's just the images itself, the actual little miniatures are so awesome.
Yeah,
they really are.
Lydia comes to find it more peaceful than downstairs.
Yeah,
you know, for what's going on down there. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and then it plays a big part in Beetlejuice later on.
Yeah,
which I think. Yeah, I think like you're saying, the reason it works so well is because there's not CGI, or there's not all of this other stuff. These were real effects. Someone built that town.
Yeah.
And it just makes it feel more real.
Yeah. It was great.
Agreed. So that is Beetlejuice. Jamie's number 5.
Jamie's number 5. And
all right.
Number 5.
All right, let's go to our number 5 from
you got
2007. After an Alaskan town is plunged into darkness for a month, it is attacked by a bloodthirsty gang of vampires in 30 Days of Night.
So the thing about the attic is that there's really only one real scene in the attic in this movie, and it's so, to me, especially the first time I saw it, it came completely out of left field. It's like, it was, as we've said many times, it was just a genius concept. Like, of course vampires are going to go where there's 30 full days where the sun doesn't come up. That's what a genius idea. And the fact that it's isolated and cold and you can't leave. Oh my God, perfect. It's so great. I love this concept. It was such a smart move, but they just changed things, the way you perceive vampires so much that everything seemed like of course. And the scene in the attic is exactly that, this little pot of survivors. They're trying to be very quiet. They've got one person who won't shut up. You've already ramped up the tension. It's claustrophobic. Please be quiet. Everybody's on the edge. Tension. And then you hear a child in the street calling for help. And one person in that attic is like, that's a test.
It's a bait.
That's bait. And then, the camera and the outside, it pulls back and you see all these vampires up on the roof waiting, and this poor kid walking down, and I tried. Oh my God.
Yeah.
It is, I like that movie. I'm a big fan of that movie, but that scene is a masterpiece in tension and horror and fear and sadness. Oh my God, it's great.
It's great. Yeah, I remember it was one of those when we saw it, just you hit yourself in the head. Why didn't I think of that?
You might as well put a dinner bell on her. It was just, come on and get me. And then,
but the whole idea
great spot.
Vampires hanging out where it's always dark. And the town where they filmed it has 67 days of darkness.
Oh, wow.
30 Days is a cooler title.
It is a cooler title, yeah.
Of course, it has Danny Houston, which is always a good thing in a movie.
He's so good.
That's so great. Good. The vampires in this speak a completely different language. They created this language for the film with help of a linguistics professor, which is cool. It also has a Wilhelm scream. One of these days, we're going to do a top 5 Wilhelm scream movies. That's after a man is thrown off a metal roof by a vampire. The Wilhelm scream. Love that. And it's one of those that is exciting. Like you said, the small scene in the attic is worth being in this countdown just because of how effective it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I get your point about movies that are based around the attic, but man, this one, you're right. It's such a realization because the one person is smart and knows what's up, but then that shot that you mentioned, that pulled back, very, very cool.
Oh my God.
So good.
That's my favorite scene in the whole movie easily. Although I do like the whole movie. But Josh Hartnett, his character gets out of trouble inexplicably a number of times. He's just running and he got free. What?
Wait.
You have a cloaking device? I don't understand. But the movie has to move forward somehow. So,
and another random fact I love about this movie: the sounds of the vampires were created through a mix of the screams of actors with recordings of death metal singers, and then mixed with various marsupials.
Okay,
there you go. There you go. I know George loves his sound.
And don't forget Ben Foster, a young Ben Foster, as sort of the Ren. Was he like the Renfield? Maybe.
Yeah, he was a little bit like the Renfield. Yeah. He was like a drunk. He was a no good Nick, that's for sure.
But Ben Foster,
that's right.
So that's our.
He was no Otis in the prison cell. That's for sure.
No, he was Otis. That's.
We didn't ask you though. What do you think about that movie?
Oh, I absolutely love it. I was reading the comics when they first came out and had the opportunity to meet Brian Templesmith, who did the art for the comic.
Wow, and nice.
He's a fantastic guy, by the way. If you ever have a chance to meet him, I have some stories about him, how really sweet he is to his fans. But the comics just really like pulled you in, and like at the end of the first issue, I was like, somebody needs to make this into a movie. Mm-hmm. And then later on they did. And, the comics actually go back and they follow them down to New Orleans, which is the part of the second movie. Mm-hmm. And then they like go into space and they do all these crazy things. It's like a Friday the 13th franchise.
Yeah, exactly.
But still, I absolutely love what they do. I could throw those things out of okay, fine. They go into space. How? Okay, that's great. But I love the movie, the comics, the whole world. And I have a cousin who lived in up there in Alaska for a while, and he was telling me back before the blackout shades, they had to literally tape aluminum foil on all of their windows, because when you came in, you could not go to sleep because it was bright outside.
Wow. That'd be right. That'd be hard.
That'd be harder, I think. Yeah. But yeah, Insomnia is the horror movie about how hard that is.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, for sure.
So that is
excellent choice, guys.
Yeah, 30 Days of Night, number 5. Okay.
And so you're number 4. It's a great one.
My number 4. Thank you, because I didn't even think about it, honestly. I stood in front of, I have this DVD cabinet my dad made, not this one, but it's in our bedroom. And I literally just sat there and went, and when I got down to the F's and put my finger on From Beyond in 1986, how could I not have thought about that? Yep. It's so good. Based on H.P. Lovecraft's story by Stuart Gordon, director. It's about the attic where they build the resonator. And he sees it as a way to reach across dimensions and see those other creatures. But that first experiment doesn't work out quite so well. The poor doctor loses his head, and it's not good. So then later on, they bring the group back along with Barbara Crampton. And then someone decides it's going to be a great idea to go up there, and then it plugs itself back in, and Pretorius reaches across the dimensions and brings his creatures. It is a terrifying scene when he comes back and you see half of him and he turns to you, and that whole that whole thing is in there.
So great.
Yeah. Oof. And I've seen a couple of different versions of that. They actually have another movie just called The Resonator from like Full Moon Pictures, I believe. But this one captures it so well. And again, it culminates at the very end where they're in the top, and Barbara has to jump out the window as the resonator explodes, and just it's, again, I can't believe I didn't think about this, because I love that movie so much.
Yeah. And Jeffrey Combs, we didn't even mention Jeffrey Combs, who is, so it's so fun to see Jeffrey Combs and Barbara Crampton in a movie again. Yes. And how I'm wondering, did they come up with the money to make this movie? Hey, Barbara Crampton is going to dress like a dominatrix periodically in this film. Here's some cash. Here you go.
I totally forgot about that scene.
Yeah, it is.
Sure you have.
It is Barbara Crampton at peak hotness. She's so gorgeous. Although, what? She's never, ever not gorgeous. She's a stunning human being no matter what. But yeah, in that movie, they were like, what else can we do to make her look hot?
Let's just put her in a thong. Well, that's great thinking, guys. Barbara's probably sitting there and going, oh, wait, what? Jeffrey, why don't we put you in one?
That's right. And to be fair, she's also great in it, because her personality changes dramatically through the course of the movie. And she strikes this great balance between sort of campy horror and just actually a little bit, weird. He's great in it. Jeffrey Combs, of course, great in it. Yeah, it's a fun movie.
And that's actually the one time, I think the one con that we did go to, met Stuart Gordon. Years ago.
Yeah. It was lovely.
That's the only con we've been to. We got to rectify.
Yeah, I mean, to follow up Reanimator and with that movie, it's like, you're on it, man. You're on it.
Yeah. He was lovely too.
Yeah, that's a good choice.
Yeah. I'm glad you like it. What do you have for number
4? A little bit more recent. 2018, a grieving family is haunted by tragic and disturbing occurrences in Hereditary. Scary Attic.
Yeah,
Scary Attic. Well, scary stuff. Wow. Scary Attic too.
Yeah, and another film with miniatures.
Right.
You know, the whole. So Ari Aster's film, his first feature, and the way that he shoots the house, which is a glorious house, but the way he's got it in miniature inside the house, and then he shoots it outside the house with no wall, so you can just see everything that happens inside of it. It's so it's beautiful. It's so eerie. Like it just plays with the idea of what's real and what's fake and what's I wish this was real, but it isn't. And then of course all of the performances just utterly glorious. And the visuals throughout the movie and the sounds, that clucking sound. Oh my God. And we screened it before it opened. We screened it for a screening for film critics. So no one had any idea what was going to happen with that stop sign. And it was we did. I mean, to experience that in the theater when zero humans on earth had any idea it was coming was an amazing piece of cinema. The entire film.
Well, one of the reasons that works so well is because they did something that I think a lot of people remember that Psycho did. Is you feature a character very prominently in the trailer, in the advertising, so that when that
you assume that that's the lead,
and you think that character is going to be around for a lot longer in the movie than they really are, and that is even more of a shock. But yeah, that one was like, holy moly!
But it all culminates in the attic.
Oh boy, it does.
But the way he uses the spaces, every room, including the treehouse, like every room has a personality. It has a look to it. It's a brilliant haunted house movie without being a haunted house movie. But then
the people are haunted.
Yeah, the people inside of it.
Oh yeah.
But and again, the way he shoots the attic is so gorgeous. It's so beautiful. And then what goes on in there is just. Of all the jarring things that happen everywhere, and the way he ends the film, it's so somber and weird and unsettling, and so I just felt like, even though, as you were saying, it's not like the whole film happens in the attic, but what happens in the attic is pivotal and the culmination of the
culmination,
movie.
Right? Yeah, the culmination. Right. This is one of those I feel like over the years, at least in my conversations, this is one of those that has become polarizing for the term elevated horror or whatever. You got the camp that doesn't feel that this type of stuff is scary. And that's fine. Whatever's scary to you is scary.
What you like.
But I think his works are great. And this is just the kind of stuff I love. Yeah. And I think this one is fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before the attic, into the attic. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you think about it, the treehouse is only an attic.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
So no, great choice.
That's
our number.
Yeah, that's our number 4.
Yeah.
Okay, so I deviated for my number 3.
Yeah,
because it's not a movie.
To be happy about it.
Yeah. Okay, because I chose the Night Gallery episode, "The Spectre in Tap Shoes" from 1972. Oh my God. It's still, I mean, because I just got the whole collection. When Millicent comes home to find her sister has basically hung herself in the attic that's been turned into a dance studio, she is, of course, terrified and heartbroken, but then she starts hearing the tap dancing over and over and over again. And when she goes up, it's not there. And Rod always had a great way of finding these stories that really, made you feel like you were part of what was going on. And this was a cool one because when you get down to the very end and you think she's, losing her mind and that her sister is her sister back, you find out it was all a ploy, like a Scooby-Doo mystery of the evil realtor trying to force her out of the house to do it. And I love the way that it came together at the end, because so many of those stories are horror. That's what they are. And so to throw those ones in every once in a while where you find out people are much worse monsters than the ones that we can think of and that can come in, just really gave it a big thumbs up for me. And again, that attic turned dance studio, the top of the house. You hear things in the attic, but not your dead sister, dancing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm a huge fan of the entire series Night Gallery. I've got to get that box set or whatever you've got, because I love that show. Going back to when I was a kid, scared the bejesus out of me. Even just the paintings. When he would stand in front of those paintings were so freaking creepy, and so many of those episodes, and he wrote a lot of them. Rod Serling did, and they're so good. And some have a twist like that, and some don't. Some still keep the evil supernatural aspect. In fact, one of my favorite episode, The Graveyard, has both. It has someone trying to get someone, get a fortune or get a house, but then at the end it's like, maybe you've stumbled into something you shouldn't have. So they're so great. Love Night Gallery. So well done.
Well, check Walmart, because I've got the entire collection on DVD for like $20, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Oh man. Okay.
Yeah. They had great orange glow in the dark covers and stuff. It was they had Kolchak too.
Kolchak. I remember Kolchak. Darren McGavin. Yes.
That was my jam. I love that.
Hope's over here going, those 70s guys are going off again.
He's younger than I am.
Well, what do you guys have for number 3?
Number 3, what do we have? Oh, this is another classic. A wealthy San Francisco socialite pursues a potential boyfriend to a small Northern California town that slowly takes a turn for the bizarre when birds of all kinds suddenly begin to attack people. The birds, Hope's ultimate nightmare, birds attacking her.
I am terrified of birds. I am, and that's no doubt why this movie is so high on the list. Also, I think this movie is the reason I'm terrified of birds, because we watched it when we were kids. It was one of those things that they would show on just like regular TV, and like the October they would like Hitchcocktober, and one of the PBS stations or whatever, or one of the local stations would play Hitchcock movies, and we would watch them. Like, we were allowed to watch them because they're good movies and they're not gory and blah blah blah. Anyway. And we watched The Birds, and I was probably 7. It's just scared the living shit out of me. And this scene is still, I rewatched it just the other day. It is still incredibly effective. And I just want to say, I love this whole movie because it's just bizarre. It's so weird. And she travels to this little island. What? And she's just, I saw you in a bookstore and I just want to be sussy. And then it's like all this crazy stuff. And then they go to a kid's birthday party and they carry martinis up the side of a mountain at a kid's birthday party. We're just going to overlook this birthday party in this mountain and drink martinis out of martini glasses. Like, socialites are weird. And I love everything about this movie. I love Brenda Vaccaro so much in this movie. I love, and I love this scene, that they finally, they go to his mom's house, and that's where they wind up being barricaded in his mom's house. And his mom, of course, hates her because she thinks she's a slut. And she goes into the attic and she opens the door, and she Tippi Hedren, she's so gorgeous in that horrible hideous green suit that she's wearing. And she walks in, and of course you see the big hole in the ceiling first, and it's excruciatingly long. This scene is so long. She is trapped in that room, and of course it's just a feat of editing. The whole scene is, and she's trying to get these birds away from her face, and like every so often, and it's the same bird every time, but you see this caw come right at her, like this bird beak come right at her face. It's just, and I love that the sound, it could have just been a bunch of cawing. It could have just, but it's almost all just flapping, just this awful flapping sound. And the sound is overwhelming. And so you completely believe that she just can't seem to get that door back open because she can't get away from these birds. Anyway, I need to just put my hands down. I find this scene terrifying. And so obviously.
And actually, that same con where we met Stuart Gordon, we met Tippi Hedren.
We did meet Tippi Hedren.
Yeah, she was there. And I couldn't believe that she didn't have more of a line. I think people didn't know it was her or make the connection. It was dumb. So we were like, we're going to get over here and meet Tippi Hedren, get a photo. Yeah, but what they do, how they edit, and the effects with the birds, really effective. And in fact, it was nominated for effects that year at the Oscars. That was the last Oscar nomination that Hitchcock ever got. I didn't win, but but I thought that the effects of that, because just think about that when you're approaching a movie. Well, we have to get a bunch of birds, and they have to be, killers, and that's difficult.
Yeah, well, and a lot of the scenes, the outdoor scenes, some of the birds were hand drawn on the film itself.
Yeah.
Really?
And then even when they're it works so well that even when they're just sitting there not doing anything, they're very imposing.
They are. They're very
especially outside the schoolhouse.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Then you've got a young Suzanne Pleshette and Jessica.
Oh, I said Brenda Vaccaro. Sorry, it's the same voice.
Suzanne Pleshette.
That's Suzanne Pleshette.
And Jessica Tandy.
Yes.
But you mentioned saucy. I mean, think about it. 1968.
Yeah.
This woman just being so forward at the time was like, whoa.
Yeah. 63.
Was it 63?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah, 63. That was very, very saucy in her green suit.
That's right.
I agree. I actually agree with you so much that I made that my number 2.
Yep.
But
yes.
Because it is so iconic. And I'm going to say this, but I know George already knows this. One of the things that makes not only the scene in the attic, which is pivotal, because it at that point she's really got her stuff together, and she's the one who's taking care of the mom and all of that. And then this stuff happens in the attic, and she's just broke. I mean, and rightly so. She's actually kind of kicking the door closed on herself as she's trying to get out. But of course, for good reason. It's crazy. But the fact that this movie does not have a musical soundtrack.
Yep.
Is first of all just such a huge risk to do, and then second of all, it pays off so well because you don't have that and then a soundtrack coming up over it.
Yep.
It is the fact that you can hear the flapping. You can even hear them moving their little claws back and forth, at the schoolhouse, for example. Mm-hmm. You can hear that, and it's just like a quiet place.
Yeah.
If you watch it, you're just waiting and hearing, and it's so well paid off.
And according to one of the producers, it was actually composer Bernard Herrmann who did the music for Psycho. It was his idea not to use any music, which is an ironic.
Wow.
You're right. It works.
Yeah, the sound design is amazing.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. There's few movies that can do that, because at a lot of times movies, the sound becomes almost another character. Mm-hmm. So in this way, to have the absence of that music, it was just really had to focus on your own hearing to see, what's coming. And again, great use. But that attic scene, oh man, you just felt so bad for her.
Yeah.
Because again, she had all her stuff together. She had her ducks in a row. And and then it just all crumbles, and after that, she's just, why is this happening? I mean, she's literally comatose, like checked out.
Yeah, right.
And the other great part of that movie, the other great part is the ending. Hitchcock just says, I'm not telling you what happened. I'm not telling you why, you know? Yeah. And it's so great to take that chance and that risk and not close it. I mean, we do that all the time, now, but back then you just didn't leave it without some, tying of the bow.
Yeah. That this is why it happened. And now the army is going to take care of it. Right. Mm-hmm. And they didn't. They just said it's moved on. It's happening in other communities now. Right. So it was a zombie movie before there were zombie movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Did you guys happen to see Birds 2?
No.
Yeah, keep it that way. They actually offered, she has a role in it, Tippy does. And it was supposed to be, hey, come on, we're going to make you this big character. We're going to give you all of this. You're going to be the same character. And then when she got there, they had swapped it all around and made her someone else entirely and cut a lot of her lines. She still got the same money, but they were able to make the movie they wanted without having, her in it as much. It's
wow. What year was that?
I think it was in the 80s. Because it was a while later, and again, it was more of a ecological disaster type film instead of just what's happening.
Sure.
Still, it's 100 times better than Birdemic.
So. I was going to bring up Birdemic. You beat me to it. Nicely done.
Yeah. So, well, that's my number 2. So,
okay.
So that means
what's your number 2, guys?
George.
Yes, number 2 from 1980. After experiencing tragic personal losses, a music professor rents a Seattle mansion with a troubled history. The Changeling, George C. Scott.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm going to surprise you too. I only saw this for the first time about a year ago when I bought it out on Criterion.
Okay.
What did you think?
I love it. I mean, it's so atmospheric and
very.
The ball bouncing down. But I'm going to shut up though. It's your number 2.
Oh no, you're absolutely right. Everybody that's seen this movie, you think of the ball right away.
Yeah, you do.
Says so much without. Well, I'm looking at the screen right there. The scene is with the ball. Says so much without any bit of dialogue.
Yeah,
visual storytelling.
It's so sad. I mean, everything about this movie is so sad. And George C. Scott, characteristically wonderful. He does. There are times where he seems to me miscast in this movie. He's so big, like his voice, like everything about him is so big, and I just think, shh, like. The rest of the movie is so quiet.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, you big gruff man. No wonder the attic presence. But and it's one of the things I like about it is that I like those sort of old-fashioned ghost stories where you're afraid of the ghost, but the ghost is the tragic figure, really. And this is one of the last movies that really did that in the sort of very like the very wholesome, not cynical, no, like, oh, we're going to change it up at the last minute. Like the really traditional ghost story sort of tale. And it was just executed so beautifully.
Right. And when he gets into the attic and he starts seeing the things of man, it just broke. And, I understand what you're saying about, him being big and everything. But when I watched it, I never really felt that, because for me, it was like, okay, he's this huge, big guy with this huge personality. But then when he gets in and he starts to figure it out, he, in my mind, shrank, and he became like, oh, things, bigger than me. And the end, when he was kind of like soft and understanding what had happened and, let it burn type deal. Again, I could definitely see your point. I just kind of saw it sort of a little bit of a different way. Not a withering of a person, just maybe coming inside of himself a little more.
I do think the scenes in the attic, the props in the attic, I mean, there's the set design inside the attic, again, is, it's sad is what it is. It's spooky, but they didn't, I think, mine it for, certainly not for horror, but even for terror. It's just sad, which is, of course, why it connects with him. He's grieving his wife and child died, and so he's gone here to be alone, and he's not alone, he's haunted, and it's the whole movie is just it's so melancholy, it's so just tender and lovely, and there is something really vulnerable that I think comes out of George C. Scott's performance, which is unexpected because that's not how he presents himself. That's not what you're used to from him in films, that I think really made the movie work in a way that it maybe wouldn't have with a more traditionally cast actor.
Yeah. And this whole theme, the Changeling theme, has been done a lot in different movies in different forms. But this one, dials it back. So you don't have, it's one of the examples where you have a movie that doesn't have to throw a bunch of stuff at the screen to make it eerie and, like you said, atmospheric and scary and have it work. Because it's a big haunted house. It's a big mansion, right? And he's alone, but he thinks. And it's also the first screen credit for a 7-month-old Joshua Jackson.
Oh.
7-month-old, shows up in this movie. And of course, his George C. Scott's wife at the time, Trish Van Devere. I think they made a few movies together, I believe. And the director, Peter Medak, which I don't know if he went on to do a lot of it, but that's one where I thought that he might have made other stuff. We'll check real quick. Not really. Species 2.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. so not really. But this one really works for sure.
Yeah. And one of the things that when I talk about this movie to other people is I like to say that he brought his own haunting with him into the haunted house. And it kind of like almost reached out to each other. And that maybe that's why, that's why they were able to come to the culmination that they did.
Yeah. But this dad, this grieving dad, and then this ghost that would have loved to have that. Yeah.
Yep. Exactly.
1980, The Changeling, our number 2. Okay, we're up the tippity top.
That's right. Well, let's hear about yours.
Well, mine is a much more recent film. It is The Invisible Man from 2020. And I will get a lot of people poo-pooing on me about this because I love it. As a matter of fact, The Invisible Woman is our next Sequel House episode, and it's going to be mine. And I hope to reignite the dark universe with my film to see. But I, of course, am talking about the attic scene where Cecilia crawls up into her attic and everything falls into place. There's the knife that scene in the restaurant. Oh, wow. Then there's her book of designs, which she knew she had done and hadn't lost. And then the phone. The phone starts ringing. And I saw an interview yesterday with the director, and he talked about shooting that attic scene, and he didn't use like a night for day shot. He shot it in 4K so he could get all of the rich blacks in the movie. There's no other lighting except for her flashlight and the phone when it goes off. And it's one of these things where the act is supposed to have all of the horrors in it. But in this case, when she sees the pictures on the phone that they've taken of her when she was asleep, it's almost a relief to know I'm not crazy. And then she hears the sound and she crawls, and you look down and you look up and there's nothing in between you. And then she brilliantly takes that can of paint and just throws it down and covers his invisibility suit.
Great.
And then the fight that happens after that, I will have a little bit of an issue that he so perfectly washed off all the white paint, but I'm not going to go there because just the way that it happens afterwards and the way that they must have filmed that to really look like no one is there fighting her is just, I think it was just a brilliant move. And again, that attic is the point in the movie, the pivot where it goes from, okay, I'm not crazy, I know this is happening to me, to what am I going to do? I can now fight this and move on. For me, I've seen that movie like 3 times now. I think that Elizabeth Moss did an incredible job in this. She does not get enough credit, in my opinion, because I really think Tom Cruise did whatever he wanted to with The Mummy. That's fine. Maybe he killed it. Maybe he didn't. But this would have been such a great point to make another sequel, to have, okay, now we have not the crazy scientist who drinks a formula that makes him go mad. Now you have somebody who was a bad guy from the beginning and the suit makes him worse. And then now it gets turned around. Yeah, it can be used for good, and she's going to do something else with it. So that attic scene for me just punctuates that entire movie and sets it up for the third act that just blew me away.
I know you agree.
We agree. We love this, and I totally agree with Elizabeth Moss. She elevates the movie, because I have a couple of nits to pick as well, like the thing that you mentioned, and the dinner scene, and the fact that there are no security cameras everywhere. But all right, but in the very beginning of the movie, you don't have to spend a lot of time explaining how she's an abused woman. We can tell by her performance.
Yeah,
I believe it right now.
Yep.
Boom, done. And she's so good. And that, you're right, that scene in the attic, the jump scare with the paint. I'm not a big fan of jump scares, but when they're done successfully, like that one, yes, And that one is set up so well. And
it's really one of the best.
It's one of the best. I loved it. I thought this movie was really, really good, and a lot to do with Elizabeth Moss's performance.
Yes.
She does not. I agree with you. She does not get enough credit a lot of times. And man, she works a lot. Every time I turn around, she's got either a new TV show or what.
And she's always incredibly good. She's really versatile. She does comedy well. She does horror, obviously. I mean, she did a movie a couple of years ago called Her Smell, not a horror movie. It's like a punk rock movie. God, she was great in it.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Her Smell.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, I loved it so much. Yeah. I'm a huge Elizabeth Moss fan, and I agree that I like the movie, and I think with somebody else that still could have been campy fun, like a fun B movie, but with her in it, it's just unmissable. Right. It's an amazing piece of cinema.
Right. Oh yeah. It just puts it into a whole next level, you know. And again, one of the things I love to talk about is that a lot of times humans can be the worst monsters of all of us.
Yes.
Sure, yeah.
And that guy, that husband, again, George, what you said, you don't need to see flashbacks of him beating her or anything like that. You know, without a doubt, when she escapes, what she's leaving from.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's just
that's just on her.
Yep.
And her elevate that. Yeah, we get it. And
well, I'm so glad you loved it.
Loved it.
What I want to know.
Big fan.
I want to hear what your number one is.
That is from 1974. Love those 70s. During their Christmas break, a group of sorority girls are stalked by a stranger. Black Christmas.
How could we not?
Yes. How can you not? You know, it's brilliant. Good choice. Please tell us why.
So, and it's funny because we just put up our tree and our decorations the other day, and that
she did.
I did.
I had. Where was I? I was doing something, and
you made yourself unavailable.
No,
not he does it. It's not. It's uncommon, but we just. I think you had to go take care of your mom, do some stuff with your mom.
Or was it band rehearsal? My band had rehearsal.
Maybe that was what it was.
Oh,
rehearsal.
So I came back, and it was like Elf at the store.
That's
the whole house was just done.
Right, and usually when we do it together. We listen to Christmas carols while we do it all. And since it was just me, I just put on Black Christmas, and I did it all. And I thought this is our new tradition because it was super fun.
There you go.
I'm for it.
Yeah, I mean, we do watch that movie every year at Christmas time. Love it. Love Black Christmas. And the attic, of course, is an important presence throughout the whole movie, because if they would have just gone into the attic. You know, and they've got a great basement scene as well. But the attic, of course, is where, I mean, I think that the most iconic image is that of the very first victim just sitting in that rocking chair, looking out the window of the attic the whole time, beginning the last shot in the movie. There she is. She's just, there she is. It's you know, and we talked about this movie often on this podcast. And I think one of the reasons that it works so well is because of the phone calls really are creepy. They they really are unsettling, and the performances are really, really, really good. And of course, Olivia Hussey's hair is the most beautiful hair that's ever been in any movie ever. And as we've said many times, one of the things that I find just magnificent about this movie, written and directed by a man that came out in 1974, is how feminist it is that every guy in the movie does the wrong thing every time. Only the women make smart choices, right? Even, John Saxon, who you think is the one you can rely on, in the end, completely misreads the entire situation and leaves her there to die, because all of them make all of the wrong decisions because they're not listening to the women. And the women all make smart decisions. And the other thing I love, right, Olivia Hussey's character is pregnant and she's planning on having an abortion, which the film never judges her for a second. But the fact that her boyfriend does makes him, per the film, prime suspect. I love all of those things about this movie. And I love Margot Kidder and how completely off the rails she is. And she's just eating bourbon to children.
Yeah. I was going to say, when you said all the women make smart decisions, I'm like, Margot does. Is Margot
Most of them make good decisions.
No, she's great.
Yeah, she is. Yeah. But again, it makes the top of this countdown because of everything that happened to the attic, of the way the attic is set up, of the way the kills in the attic work themselves out, which is always really well shot and really creepy. And then of course just that constant like vigilant witness the whole time, the first girl who's gone missing, and if they had just checked their own property, they would have found her right off. And solved mystery, which I just, and of course, Terrifier 3, we're not huge Terrifier fans, but they do a nice job of homaging that. One of the things I did like about the third installment is the way it does sort of nods to other horror films, that came before it, and it does have a really good sort of because it's also it's a Christmas movie. It's got a nice nod to Black Christmas that I appreciated. But yeah, I felt like that had to be, especially because of the week we're taping, that had to be our top song.
Yeah, and of course, a lot of people, if you search on it, you might also find it under the title of Silent Night, Evil Night, which the American distributor was afraid that Black Christmas would be looked at as a blaxploitation flick, and so did change that. Stupid. The Black Christmas.
I so would have seen that. William Marshall as Santa. I'd go see that.
And when it came out, it was the third highest grossing Canadian film of all time at the time.
Really?
Yeah, with a gross of $4 million, which back then was. I know. But that has survived as a classic. Yeah, we bring it up a lot with good reason. You mentioned the director Bob Clark and the writer Roy Moore, because of you mentioned all those plot points and feminist tilt. Give credit to the writer as well. But and one of the many films that play on that urban legend of a babysitter and somebody in the house. Yeah. There's been a ton of those, especially
calls are coming from inside the house.
Yeah,
right.
And you've got that. Before Halloween, let's talk about the point of view shots.
Oh, yeah.
You've got those point of view from the killer shots that are very influential.
Very influential. And of course, it's Christmas season. And of course, everybody has to point this out, that the director is also the director of A Christmas Story. You'll shoot your eyes out, kid.
I was holding on to that before you said it. I was like, it's amazing that the width and breadth of that some of these guys can do and do them perfectly. Do you guys have a restaurant called Raising Cane's?
We do. Yeah, we do.
Okay. Have you seen the commercials with Peter Billingsley now? It's the Christmas commercials.
No.
I don't think so. And he's trying to figure out what to order, and he has a kind of, how he's wearing the glasses, and he starts to go off, and he's thinking about how he saves the Christmas party, and then they're like, Mr. Peter, I'm sorry. And then he goes on. I love that.
No,
the original first one was in Baton Rouge, just down the road.
Is that right?
I didn't know that.
Did not know that. Yeah, we've got a few here.
We do.
Yeah, one just down the street. But
they are young.
Yeah, Peter Billingsley. Wow. No, I have to look for that. So Black Christmas, our number one.
That's right.
Hard to beat it.
What do you think of the remake?
The remake was pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't love it, but we didn't hate it. It got a lot of hate. And I don't think it got a lot of hate in the same way that a lot of remakes do. It got a lot of hate because people didn't want to see a feminist horror movie. And it's not a very good feminist horror movie, but, there are billions upon billions of really bad sexist horror movies. So one mediocre feminist horror movie, I'm going to be okay with.
I like the fact that they went there. I mean, we're going to remake it, but we're going to give it our own. I always like that. Whether it's successful or not, I appreciate not just trying to do the exact same thing.
I think it was actually hamstrung by a PG-13 rating. I think that it.
Agreed.
Yeah. But, and I hate that you have to use the labels like a feminist movie or whatnot when it can't just be. This was a great movie with some really great characters, most of them being women.
Yeah.
But you've got the trolls in their basements.
Of course.
And,
I think that's one of the reasons why I like to point out that the original was a feminist film.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Exactly. From a guy.
Yeah. So, Black Christmas, our number one. That's a good look at some good addicts.
It is a good look
at addicts. With Jamie Ray. All right. So where can everybody find you? And man, at cons, we know that.
That's right.
Yeah. So we're going to do a bunch of cons in Louisiana, and I'm actually going to Heroes Con this year. I'll be walking around and meeting people. And then I'm doing OAX, which is the Original Art Expo in February, where they have artists from all over the world. It's like a top tier, There's only like 750 tickets that are given. Yeah, but this is the third year in a row. Last year I got to interview like Julie Bell, Boris Vallejo's wife, and Adam Hughes and Jimmy Palomino and Amanda Connor and all of these things. So I'll have a whole new bunch of those, and you can find them on my YouTube. You can just search for Fave 5 from Fans, and you'll also see playlists there for Complete Disarray with Jamie Ray, Sequel House, and finally this year, I'm really going to make it happen. 2026 is the year of Hanging with Hitch, and it's going to start coming out. We've got 2 in the can now. I want to get 1 more and then get it going. So you'll see 12 of them next year.
All right. That's awesome. What I'm going to guess, if nothing else, 2026 will be the year that we see you at cons, because when Hope's starring in a movie called The Pumpkin Man, and when that comes out, we've gotta go be selling that thing at the cons.
God, there's a wonderful con called Galaxy Con, and I think there's even one in Ohio.
Yes,
and y'all should definitely check into that one too.
Yep.
And the film festivals are everywhere. So,
yeah.
Of course, we're already looking at your Oscar. But.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. Well, you can always find us. madwolf.com is the main website. Mad Wolf Columbus on all the socials, and of course YouTube. And we're looking ahead to Fright Club. Well, we've got one more for this year, Fright Club Live, coming up at Gateway Film Center, where we're going to be showing. I get to pick one movie a year, and so this is mine. We're going to be showing the Christmas Horror Story, Horror Story.
That's right.
Which is great. Santa and Krampus fighting it out. You've got William Shatner. I mean, what's not to love? Yes. So we're going to be showing a Christmas Horror Story.
And we're going to count through the best Krampus Christmas movies.
Oh.
Yeah. So that
Krampus also almost made my attic list.
Yeah, for sure. So that's next month, and we're still setting up 2026. So who knows? But look us up. Look Jamie Ray up. Lots of good stuff coming in the new year as we close out this year. So Jamie, thanks so much.
Yes.
Oh no, thank you guys. I love this so much. You girls are just so wonderful. You're my idols.
And we're gonna have this cross promote and then we're gonna go. We've been to the attic, so we're gonna go in the basements for your podcast. Talk about those. So that'll be next.
Yeah, I'm so excited about it.
Look up Jamie and keep up with us. Have a great holiday season. And until next time, she is Hope Madden.
He's George Wolf.
And he is Jamie Ray, and he's going to take us out.
Stay frightful, my friends.